Hey everybody, welcome to my channel. Today we're going to talk about these cranky Williams brand passenger cars that have been giving us such fits the last couple times we've tried to run trains. I think they just need a little adjustment, a little maintenance, so we're going to get that done. But before we get started with that, if you find you like this video, if you can give us a like, that'd be great. We appreciate that. If you're not yet a member of our YouTube family, you might want to subscribe. We do shenanigans such as this all the time, so you would get notified when I upload new videos, and also you get notified when I go live. We try to go live about once a week. It doesn't always work out that way, but most of the time that's what we try to do. Our live streams aren't like party events or anything like that, but I mean, a lot of people find them interesting, and there's quite a few trainings running at the same time. Generally, I mean, sometimes we do other things too. But anyway, if you think you might be interested in that, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, join our family. And I almost forgot the most important part of my intro. Okay, if you're a current subscriber, if you're a returning subscriber, thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so very much. We consider you part of our YouTube family. You're a very big part of our life, and we appreciate you being here and sharing our experiences and helping us play with the trains. All right, now, with no further ado, let's talk about some cranky passenger cars. Okay, so here they are, the Williams passenger cars are giving us just a little bit of heck. When I got these, they were completely non-functional, so I have a good idea what might be going on. I think we need to adjust and maybe redo some trucks, and I think probably some of it has just come loose. So I noticed when I was grabbing these that I think it's this one. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one. Let me get it to where maybe you guys can see a little bit better. So, I seem to have a space issue here. All right, well, excuse me. This is my channel. So, okay. So you notice that the body on this one is actually loose. So while that won't make it come off the track exactly, that's not right. So we're going to look into that. Now while we have this one up, let's look at look at this. Okay, I'm going to turn this upside down, so don't let that confuse you. But look, this is actually, the whole thing is actually loose. And so yes, that will affect the performance of the passenger car. So yeah, I mean, this is not good. I don't think this necessarily has anything to do with the trucks. Maybe I think it just has to do with this throwing off the geometry. Now, when you've got long arms like this, I mean, the geometry has to be right, or else it's not going to work. It's gonna twist and do things in ways that you can't imagine. Now, these trucks are a little worn. When we take this apart, we'll check it out. So that's that one. Let's see what else we got here. So this guy here, let's see. Yeah, see this one's a little bit different story, but the same type of problem. This screw here likely is stripped or just not real tight. But we'll take that apart and look at that. This side looks okay. All right. So another problem that these have is, you see how much, I guess my finger's in the way. You see how much travel this has? We're going to see what we can do to fix this, because what happens is this doesn't ride high enough and it will actually fall out of the coupler ahead of it. You might notice that the other one I showed you had these washers in that. That's because some of these I could not fix the first time, and they literally will fall out. So there's that. All right, so I think that's all on that truck, or that car. All right, so this guy here, while this is tight, this has got some movement in a way that it shouldn't move. And we'll have to probably take that apart and look at that. This guy on the other end, seems like he's okay. And once again on the height here, the part of my towel that's not wrinkled. See, that's just a lot of up and down movement that it really should not have. So this guy here, see, that's more like the movement it should have. Oops, if I can demonstrate and see, it moves, but not to the extent of the other one, I don't believe. So, all right, last but not least, we have the observation card here. And we've got a couple of problems that I know of. Once again, the couplers got a little more travel than I think it ought to have. We'll see if we can't do that. When we take these apart, I'll show you how it's built, and you'll see what the issue is over time. So the trucks, they actually look okay. No, actually, no, they don't. This one, I did not notice it when I was looking earlier, but no, this is moving just a little bit. Okay, so we'll check that out. And then this guy on the end doesn't have a coupler, but it's pretty loose on there. That probably needs to be looked in. And then last but not least, on the back end here, at some point, I lost my back door, so we're gonna remove this nut right here, and we'll get the door back in there. So that doesn't affect function, but I like to keep things together, because otherwise I tend to, I can't say you, I tend to lose things that aren't together like that. So what happened is how many times have we heard that? Anyway, what happened was that this it turned, and see that notch for the door is right there, and it turned, and it just dislodged the door. It's just loose. So all right, let's get started, see what we can do. All right, so I've got the observation card here on its back. We're gonna start here first, just because that's where I want to start. So once again, if you visited my channel more than once, you probably know I don't have proper nut drivers, and apparently I just don't ever remember to get new ones. So we have these little guys, which aren't exactly the same, but they're okay. So all right, let's see. Suspecting I need the right size. That wasn't it. Oh, well, somebody put these out of order, and the only person that touches these are me. So, this is very, very loose. All right, so I'm just going to take this end off for now. Just don't need it at the moment. It's not doing anything for us. So, okay, this car works just a little bit different than the rest of the cars. The rest of the cars, when you remove 4 screws, basically the chassis drops out, and that's all there is really to that. This one, it's got, because of this, I don't know if you can see that, because of this end, it's got you're going to take these 2 screws right here out, and the whole thing will slide out of the body. That's kind of cool. So let's get that done. Take a little peek here, make sure I'm on the camera good. I believe I am. So, all right. That's interesting. The one thing I needed did not bring, but we'll work around it. I didn't bring the larger screwdriver. But I got another issue. I have lots of issues. I have another solution here. All right, here we go. Apparently I have a few issues. It's funny, because when I turn on this camera, I'm not nervous. I'm not nervous at all, but it's like the words just won't come out right. It's really odd. So it's not stage fright. It's not that I'm afraid of anything. It just doesn't work for me for whatever reason. So, all right, so I got these 2 screws undone. Trying to figure out exactly how this is. I believe this end just slides out. All right, that's kind of cool. So the screws look like they might be fun to put back in. We'll see here in a little bit. Oh, look. Oh, somebody has customized this. Wow. Well, okay, I wonder if there was supposed to be... Oh, there is a nut on the other one. Look there. What is this? What is this? What? I don't understand. Oh, that's this... No? What? Oh, I see. Okay, never mind. Never mind, just ignore that comment. Ignore it. I know what I'm doing. No, I have no clue what I'm doing. Oh, goodness. When I got these cars, I've never took this one apart because there was no issue with it. So I didn't feel like there was any need to take it apart. So, all right, let me get this guy ready and we'll just slide him out. I think that's the way to do this. Seems to be hung up on... Oh, look at that. This screw that comes down, it goes all the way from the roof down. Wow. Okay. It's not like they didn't try to keep this together good. It just didn't work. So, okay, let's see what we can do about that. So does this... I'll probably have it out of the camera view. So does this just simply slide down, or does this roof... Oh, the roof comes off. Look at that. Wow, that's probably overly complicated. All right, cool. All right, get my truck turned here, and it'll stay turned. And get this going. So far, it's not cooperating very well. If I just lay it on its back and then pull. Huh? Oh, look, we get to this spot and it can't slide anymore. So, all right, I think maybe. Boy, I tell you what. Sometimes you do this stuff and you're like, what? What? All right, so maybe this. Oh, okay, that's not how I thought that would work, but all right, cool. Whatever. It's still sliding. I'm happy. All right, so that's what I call some close tolerances right there. All right, so here is what it looks like. You will notice that somebody, that would be me, put some neon LED. Maybe I should go back to bed and just start over my entire day. Some LED light bulbs. These are actually for automotive use. Not really what should go in here, but hey, it worked. So I was not unhappy. So all right. So this is the one that we were gonna. Well, okay. This truck is actually a little bit different than the other cars on the design. So this one is the one that we said was a little loose. I also noticed that this pickup seems to do nothing. That's certainly interesting. It's not, I don't know if you can see it, it's not connected to anything. Well, that's, oh, look. It's been disconnected and somebody just shoved, what? That, I mean, I'm stammering because that had to have been me. So, all right, well, I guess we're going to do some soldering as well. That's okay. All right, well, I'm going to take this light out just to get it out of our way for a moment. That's an interesting revelation right there. It's all right, but right now what I'm interested in is getting this truck off this chassis. I've never seen these trucks for sale anymore, or anywhere. So if anybody knows where I can find them, that might be good information to have. So this one's simple. This one's just a lock thing, and then it just comes down and this. So this one is just simply worn out. Or perhaps that's within allowable, but I'm still going to take it apart. I'm still going to see because I want to know. Well, that, and it'll be easier to solder that doggone wire. Seems like I can't do a video without dragging out the soldering iron. myself and bleed, we'll edit that part out. I don't think that's going to happen, though. Although the day is young. The day is young. All right. This should just pop right on off. Pretty sure they probably have a proper tool for that I definitely don't have. So then it's got a lock and then a big washer, and this should just snaps right out. I didn't even notice that light wasn't working. Did you guys notice that? So maybe I broke it when we were pulling it out. I hope so, because otherwise it makes me look a little nuts. So okay, so not the best design in the whole world here. I mean, this would be okay probably if you didn't run your trains as much as I do. But this track is metal. This is metal. And then this metal piece just goes in here. And it's pretty loose. So I'm not sure what, if anything, we can do about that. That's just wear. If it had been me designing this, of course it wasn't me. I'd have done, I think, some sort of bushing here, a replaceable bushing, and then had this piece. But that's not the way they did it, so we're gonna do the best we can. I'll think on that for a second. Maybe we'll tackle the other end, and we'll come back to that in a second. I'll think while I talk. So, all right. So this end here, oh, this is the one where the actual thing was this. This is not the correct screw for here. That's one thing. Let's see. Other than that, it seems pretty tight and pretty good. That movement on that arm, though, don't like that. So, all right, we're gonna go ahead and take this off. Take this loose. I guess we probably broke that other one. Or like I said, I broke that other one while I was taking it apart, apparently. I think that body twisted it in a way that it just pulled that wire off. It's not a big deal to fix it. I was just shocked to see it. Alright, so I think we'll probably replace this with something like what they did with a bolt and a nut as opposed to that. It'll make it more difficult to service in the future, but it won't back out like that either. So, alright, so there we go. That's the way that should have come out on the other one. So this guy here has just got, I mean, I think it's, actually it looks a little bent and indented there, but I think just because this piece is so long, I mean, that's just a lot of leverage to get things bent and not great. So, alright, well, I think we move this part out of the way. So let's take this guy apart. Let's kind of segregate our parts a little bit here. I didn't grab a parts cup because I didn't expect there to be this many parts. It's okay. We'll be okay. We got a video to look back on if I forget anything. So, alright. Trying to get this off. You guys are probably laughing at me. You know, that's okay. I really don't mind. I really don't mind at all. Okay, so I'm gonna keep the parts for this one over here. This guy looks like this has got a different kind of washer. That's interesting. And this one here, unlike, oh wow, what the, and this bad thing about not finishing sentences, but so this guy here, this actually doesn't look bad. That's interesting. That actually, there's no play in that. So, where's the play coming from? Let's see. There's a washer here, but I don't think there should be a washer there because look, the washer actually makes that go out of its slot. So That's interesting. I think this washer either doesn't go here or it's something somebody has added and it didn't work out. So let's try putting this back in for a second. See what the movement looks like with nothing in there. I don't know why you would move it down, which is what that accomplished. If anything, you move it up in this case, at least at this point in time. So, all right, this guy's different. So, all right, there it goes. So that's the issue. See, but we still got the downward that I don't like on that. Okay, so sometimes the solutions are simple if you just stop and think. So what I've done, you can see this is pretty tight on here now. It doesn't have the movement. It does no movement back and forth. The issue was that somebody installed this washer thinking that was going to, I don't know, stop the movement, I guess. But what it actually did was it made that shoulder that it rides on move down, and it allowed a lot of movement here, and we have almost no movement here. So the issue when I went to put this back in, why it wouldn't go back together, is when they did that, they made this whole staple move, and it just got knurled. So what I did, I just simply grabbed onto it with my pliers, and I gave it a little twist, and it popped right back in there. I mean, it's good now. I mean, it's really good. So now the only thing left to do is to button this end back together. So I'm happy we came up with a solution. Some of these have, and I don't know if this one's supposed to have, springs right here. But the way that seems to be fastening, this seems a little different. And because this is the observation car, it may very well be different. So I'm going to do something just to hedge my bet a little bit that none of this moves around on me. Take a little liquid persuasion here. I'm just going to put a little drop right there. Not so much that it makes it makes it into where it's supposed to move, and maybe there, and that may stop it from moving. Probably was not necessary, but we'll see here in a minute. All right, so the washer that they had on the bottom, I suspect probably should go on the top. So now I do realize that I have effectively just glued that there, but so all right, let's see what this looks like when we put it in. Is it tight? No, not really. That I'm not comfortable with that, guys. I really don't want that to move back down. I mean, we got the glue in there, and it is in there pretty good, but I do believe that there is supposed to be a spring in here. I don't have the spring, obviously, else I'd be putting it in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get up my parts box and see if we can find yet another washer here, and maybe that'll bring it to the correct height. I'll be right back. Okay, so you're not even going to believe what I found. I found a spring. I found probably the spring, and it was in some parts that I got with some other things, so I think this is actually what goes with this. It just wasn't included with this, so that's interesting. It's a little sprung and a little funky, but I think with a little patience, we might actually could put this back together the way it was intended to be. Now the other cars, the way they work is this spring goes here, then this washer goes here, and then if the sun and the moon align correctly, what happens is that snap ring will go on and allow it to be sprung like that. It's a very strange design, but that is in fact how the others work. So I can't think of a reason why this one wouldn't work that way. So, alright, I'm going to go off camera for a minute and see if I can get this together, because this obviously is not going to be simple. So I don't want to spend a lot of time with you guys wondering why the heck it's taking so long. So let me get this done and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got this on here. It wasn't quite the pain that I thought it was going to be. It's tight, but it's not stiff. It's pretty much perfect in my opinion. Let's go ahead and put our light bulb back through, hopefully without breaking the wire, because although I guess it's not that big a deal if we're getting out the soldering iron anyway. Speaking of which, I guess that's probably one of the next steps, is to get that soldered back. So alright, that truck is ready, and I feel very comfortable and very happy with that. So if we get nothing else done before I need to go to work, that will be plenty. So you can probably see how that other one would come disconnected. I think it got twisted as we were trying to pull the frame out of the body, and it simply just pulled it off. You can see that it's only got so much slack. I put these rubber pieces of rubber. It's just actually vacuum hose on here to keep it from rubbing a hole in this wire, because that was one of the problems when I got it. So all right, let's get started on the next truck. So this is going to require me getting out the soldering iron, which not a big deal at all. I just got to do it. Go ahead and get this wire stripped. I have to get us a place there on the pickup. So okay, I'm sorry if that was off camera for a minute. Let me go get the soldering iron and I'll be right back. Right. Well, I think we could probably, oh, excuse me if I just took it out of the camera range. Okay, I think we can turn off the soldering iron. I think we can probably move on to what we're doing before the wire broke. So, let me get this camera repositioned and we will start from there. Let me clean some of this stuff up as we go. The better half is good about my my obsession / hobby, but you know, let's not push it, I guess. So all right, let me get this camera ring positioned. Ooh, that looks good right there, huh? Maybe zoom out a little bit because you know my propensity for not being on camera, thinking I am. And we'll move it about as high as we can. Alright, so just a little. I think that's probably good. Let's see, how high can I? Oh yeah. Yeah. Alright, cool. So okay, as you may recall, this one had the issue that it's the wrong screw in there. I'm not sure what that goes to, but it does not go to this. Let's see. So, and the other issue, I believe, well, was the light, for sure, but we'll leave that off for a moment. Let's see how this staple fits in this truck. I took that wheel off because we wanted to do some soldering. I guess we'll go ahead and get this one out too. These trucks make me kind of nervous. These axle holders are cast and they do break. And I have one, I'm not sure which one, that came completely broken, and I was able to get it back together. So, all right, that's making me too nervous. We're just gonna live with the inconvenience. Okay, so That staple fits in there fine. Not a lot of movement, not a lot of issues. So I'm kind of liking that. Oh, wait. Do you notice what I'm noticing? This one doesn't. This one isn't. This has got the same staple with the ridge here, but it doesn't use the ridge on this. Oh, well that's different. Okay, interesting. All right, so that's. I wonder why they did that. That's interesting. So okay, let's get this through here, and then of course this goes like this. If you're ever wondering, this ear up will tell you because the light has to go inside. So all right. So this guy had a washer, and then just okay, that's interesting. My phone just went off, so excuse me just a minute. Let's see who is messaging. Okay. Yes, I'm aware. Okay. So that was awkward. So this one, while it's tight in the truck itself, this holder, it's not quite as tight. It's got a what I would call an unacceptable level of movement. And once again, if it had been me, I would have probably designed some sort of replaceable bushing in this plate, but likely it's not. You know, A, they probably weren't intended to be used as much as I've used them, and B, probably replacement parts were available at some point in time. These cars were not cheap originally, so I imagine that, you know, if you own this car, you would want that. So, all right. I'm not sure exactly how to do this one either. So what can we do? Now, a way to make the hole smaller. So maybe we should focus on a way to maybe make this, for lack of a better word, staple, that's what it is, wider somehow. And I'm not sure how that's going to happen, but that's just a lot of movement. Apparently the hole, I don't know if you can see it or not, it's a little ovaled. Oh, well no, you couldn't see it because, so, I don't know. This is one of those things where, just like the other one, I don't want to overthink this and waste a lot of time. Good news is it doesn't look like we have an issue with the staple length like we did on the other one. You know, I just noticed that the bottom here is bent a little bit. I wonder if it was manufactured that way, or, like I said, when these came to me, the trucks were all busted out because it looked like somebody had stepped on them. I can't, you know, because this pivots, I can't imagine that that's supposed to be like that. I want to see if maybe, and not a lot more than maybe just finger pressure. See if I can get that to go out a little bit. I'm not going to drag out pliers. I know better than to do that, but maybe it's something we can just kind of work. It does look like it moved a little in my imagination. So let's see. Staple, of course, fell out. That's okay. This metal is really thin. You know, I guess if one wanted to, it really wouldn't be that difficult to fabricate a new plate for this, but I don't really want to do that either. Not quite that gung-ho on it just yet. So, all right. So this staple does not need to be to where it can, the whole thing can turn, because it's got freedom here. I'm wondering if we could figure out a way maybe to increase the width of that staple. And what I'm thinking would be temporary. It wouldn't last all that long. I was thinking about doing I saw this on another channel, some heat shrink tubing on this one, which would make it just slightly larger in diameter. And then this could go on here. Actually, the reason that might work is because this doesn't need to rotate up here. You can rotate down here. That might actually work, and it might stiffen it up a little bit. I don't think it can hurt anything. It's a little bit of a crazy idea, but I don't have a better idea at this very moment. So let's try that, and maybe we're just wasting some time, and I'll edit this part of the video. And you guys won't know that I ever did this crazy attempt. Although, you know what? No, because I want people to know that, it's not just wham bam, and some of these videos I look at, I'm like, yeah, okay, sure, it went together like that, just no problems whatsoever. So no, we're not gonna edit that out. No, we're not. All right, let me go get the heat shrink tubing, and I'll be right back. Okay, so here we go with this insane idea. I'm not sure if it's gonna work or not. I'm gonna cut about the shortest piece of shrink tubing that I can. I want to cut it as straight as I can. So, alright. See what we got. So, as you can see, it's very tiny. So, you will see. I'm just going to put it here. And then, you may notice we lost our light wire. We'll go back and do that again. So, okay, I'm going to give it a little heat, the heat shrink. Obviously not a lot because my finger's on there, but it doesn't require a lot. Okay, sorry about that. My phone rang. It was a spam caller. I spent a lot of times. I was not feeling well the last couple of days, but I spent some time on the couch watching those Scammers Revenge or whatever it is on YouTube. I thoroughly enjoyed that. Hats off to those guys. So, alright, so I got the heat shrink tubing on there, and while it's still a little warm, I'm just going to press this on here. And as crazy as it is, I think it worked. We are stiff, we're good, it still rotates. Alright, so let's get this washer and this C thing that everybody hates back on here. Usually I have to turn off the camera because it takes me a good minute to fight with these guys. Not the scammers, the C-Club. Oh goodness. I thought to myself, well, I just run trains. This guy's actually doing something. So, hats off to him. Whatever. I enjoyed that. Alright, I am going to turn off the camera while I figure this out, but I think I have this figured out. Okay guys, so things got a little weird after I turned off the camera. We had great success with the idea that we had. The problem was that the C-clip decided it was going to break. And I don't have another C-clip. So, what I did is I cut off the other piece of heat shrink tubing we had on here to make the clearance a little less, and I just continued it up, and then I found a nut that was about the same size. I threaded it onto the heat shrink tubing, and I heated it, and as you can see, it's all together well. It's not going to come back apart, and more importantly, as you can see, there's zero movement now, and it still works just fine. We got our light connected back up, so we're ready to move on to the next thing. So I I think the next thing should probably be to get these trucks back on this base. So for anybody that might be paying attention, and I'm not sure if I did this or not, let me check the camera real quick, make sure we're all good. So every once in a while I say stuff that's not exactly correct. I know you've noticed this. It's not on purpose. I mean, it's certainly not for deceit or anything like that. But I'm pretty sure that I identified this one that we worked on first as a rear truck. This is, in fact, the front truck. We know this because it has the coupler on it. So let's put this wheel back in here, and we get to strapping these guys back in. So I knew this was going to be a major job. And once again, when I first got these, there was a problem with one of the trucks, and I fixed it in a way that I was like, oh, you should never try on that again. Here I am. Here I am tempting fate. Hopefully it won't be one of the ones that we take out. So, all right. So this is obviously the back. So this is the back truck assembly. And it just goes in the slot right here. And slides on in. Now I believe this is the one where we had the issue with the bolt, maybe? Or was that one of the other ones? Let's see what we have. We can probably find out. Now this is this one apparently was okay. So let's see. Find the screw. So these, when you put these back together, it'll kind of remind you a little bit of some of the Mark stuff where you not exactly tight clearances and high spec anything. Stuff's kind of rudimentary, especially if it gets old. So let's see. If this doesn't get tight, we're gonna switch it to a. No, that's plenty tight. That's good actually. So I'm gonna put. Yeah, wow, that truck is awesome now. I'm gonna put just a drop of glue on this screw. Not so much that we can't get it back out, but maybe enough that it won't find its way onto the track someday. So, all right, I got that done. Now let's get the front done here. I'm gonna check my camera again. Yeah, we're doing okay. I'll move it over here. This piece of heat shrink tubing out the way. Hopefully we are done with that. And hopefully we're done breaking C-clips too. I'm really not a big fan of C-clips. So, all right, this is definitely the one that the screw was incorrect. So we have to stop the video and find something. Although I think I have the parts box right here. Let's see, give me just a moment. We'll see what we got. I have something here that I do believe would work. So I've got some bolts and some nuts. That'll definitely keep it from coming loose. It definitely means that you'll have to take apart the car to get it off again, but I don't guess that's a high price to pay for having it work correctly. So let's see if just out of some fluky. Oh wow, that's the luckiest thing that's happened all day. Oops. So it lays down. So yeah, this is gonna go through here. Yes. That's awesome. Okay, so as you see, it's not tightening. I knew it wasn't going to. That hole for the screw is pretty messed up. That's why somebody put a new screw in there. But give us just a moment, and we will probably remedy that particular problem, at least from this end. Let's see if I have some washers. I think I do. I believe I do. Yes, I do. Alright, so you guys have like bunches of this stuff laying around. I do. Seems like there's In some ways too much, and in other ways not enough. So, okay, I'm just going to put that on there. I'm going to get my corresponding nut driver, tighten her down. Now what I don't think I want to do is I don't think I want to get this like terribly tight. Both things are turning at the moment, so I'm not doing anything if anybody's worried. But I think I recall, maybe not on this particular one, but another one, that this metal's so thin that if you go to over tighten this in this way, sometimes it'll ruin the chassis. So I may have even seen that on somebody's YouTube channel. I don't know. I see things all the time and I forget. I forget where I saw them. So my favorite one though is the guy that goes, "It's just not that serious." It's not. This is fun, you know. You're not always going to have at your hands what you need to make your trains run. So sometimes you have to do squirrely stuff like this, and there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's for having fun. It's for learning. It's for, you know, a hobby. That's what hobbies are. It isn't, you know, about perfect. If it was about perfect, my mom wouldn't paint or quilt. Although I'll just tell you that she's a darn good quilter and a darn good painter. But I mean, you know, you get my point. You know, you can't discourage people, and you can't take away from their dreams. So, all right, I'm going to wash my hands real quick, and then we'll get this body back on here. This gunk that comes off, man, don't get this stuff on your trains. It is not easy to get off, and sometimes it will actually stain it. So do be careful. All right, I'll be right back. Okay, so my hands are relatively clean now. I want to encourage everybody when you're working on this stuff, keep your hands clean. It'll make your life a lot easier. That's not your mom talking, that's just me. So just in case anybody's interested, these are aluminum. These are really quite expensive back in the day. The Williams brand. So, alright, let's start putting this guy back together. What do you say? So, this guy should just go back together the way it came apart. You can insert laughter here if you like. Let's see. If that's correct. So, as we learned taking it off, you need to be careful with these tricks don't twist, because you'll bust your wire off. Or at least I did. Maybe your wires are longer. But so far this is going on about as I thought it would. So let me turn it over here and see if we can get moved. And it's going in. It's kind of being unnecessarily tight. All right, I think we got it. All right, so it's in there. Everything is good and tight now. I'm loving that. Now this coupler is, it's a little looser than I would have liked, but I think it's okay. I mean, it's not dropping to the towel. And once again, I have those washers on the other end, so if it's not perfect, it will still work. So okay, so it's probably time to figure this guy out. I'm like, what is this? Where did this come from? Oh, goodness, Greg. Okay, so let's get this back door, or front door in this case, I guess, in. I'm going to go ahead and glue this in place here because I just saw how it goes in. Don't really know that you can do it after you get it in there. You might can. So, all right. So far, so good, I feel like. A lot of time on one car, but that's okay. Sometimes that's what happens. Sometimes that's what you deal with. So, all right, this guy goes on this end. Don't know if it matters. We may have to take that chassis back out. That would not be pleasant, would it? No, I was gonna say that no, but I honestly don't know. So let's see. Looks like it's got 2 slots here that the chassis is going to fit over. So that's how that goes. And then make sure I'm keeping it on the camera, which it probably was not. My apologies. So then okay, so we started making this video on the other phone, and it decided it just wasn't going to work. So we switched back to the one we have been using. We're in the middle of rebuilding these trucks on these Williams passenger cars that have been giving us so much trouble. We're actually having some good success. I hope that I can retrieve that off the other phone and show you guys. If not, well, we still have 3 others to go, so that's not too horrible. So the issue that we were running into before we ran into the issue with the phone is that I need to get these nuts behind these plates here, and I think we just about had confirmed before the camera gave us all kinds of nasty notifications that I can't quite get my finger in there. Well, maybe I can. You know, maybe. Today has been a strange day as far as luck, and everything has gone. We've been really lucky in some ways. I'm not gonna knock that, and that in other ways things are really not quite gone our way exactly. So that nut moved, of course. So the beauty of this is that I can always go back and edit some of this out so it doesn't look like it's quite as long. We try to leave the blunders in there just to give you guys a dose of what's real. So many of these channels, and I'm not putting them down for it. Well, blah 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 blah. Ta-da! And that's just how it is. Well, yeah, no. Sometimes it is, but most of the time, no, it's not. So now I've got the screw stuck in here. Speaking of blunders, let me see if we can just rattle it out. It says no, it's not going to rattle out. It's just very happy in there. Good grief. Okay, well, get my finger in there yet again, and perhaps give it a little persuasion. If not, we can try something else. It does seem to be coming out though. So all right. As I was saying before, you may need to go get some tweezers. You didn't hear that because that wasn't this video. All right, I'll be right back. All right, guys, the tweezers was an absolute failure. They're nice, but they won't reach this. They won't do this. So what I did is I went ahead and pulled this back out. And what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and give this just a couple of threads here. And I'm going to stick this guy in here. See exactly how I think he goes. And then what I'm going to do, and this won't really hold anything exactly, is I'm going to put a couple of drops of glue in here. Not so much that it's going to destroy anything or do anything, but it will hold that nut long enough for us to get our screw in there, and we won't have to rely on ninja fingers or however you want to say that. So all right, now we really don't want to get it on the threads if we can help from it, but things happen. So all right, it was just a very little bit of glue, so it ought to be okay. Because it was just a very little bit of glue, it should be glued. And in fact, it is. Well, that's certainly, well, in fact, it was not. And I was just fixing to say, well, in fact, that's great news, but no. Apparently the glue wasn't stuck just yet. I got a little anxious, a little over anxious. That happens sometimes. So, all right, we got this in here. Looks like it's probably straight enough. All right, it's definitely stuck this time. That was somewhat embarrassing. Oh, all right, Got it, still in there. It doesn't have to stay long, just long enough for us to put that on there. So I'm going to leave this one threaded out a little bit more, I think, because I think the leverage of the screw knocked us loose last time. All right. In case anybody can't hear it in my voice, it is full allergy season here in the Houston, Texas area. Yay. The last live stream I did a few days ago, man, I had just this blazing sinus headache, which is, of course, is related to allergies. But I thought I could drink some coffee and have a normal day and go to work, and, well, long story short, that simply didn't happen. All right, I've got these in here, and I'm feeling pretty happy about it. This guy here is still acting a little funky. May need to resituate this one a little bit. It seems okay now. Sometimes if you put too much glue on there, it takes longer than you think it would to glue. All right, so I'm going to put this door back in here. And on the other video, if it's ever shown, ever recoverable, I showed you where I glued this in here. This normally, I don't believe is glued, but I'm not a magician, and really just want this to go back together. So once again, we got these trucks. I mean, we did a bang up job on these trucks. I hope we can save or recover that video. I'm pretty proud of that. The one truck is, just a spoiler alert, is a well, I guess it's not a spoiler if you've already seen it, but it's a bit of a temporary fix. We got creative with some heat shrink tubing and a nut, and we busted a retainer, and yeah, it'd be good if I can recover it. It's pretty real, some of the stuff we see I don't think is entirely real or pretty scripted. None of my stuff is ever scripted. I don't even know what I'm doing. I mean, and take that any way you want to, and it'd probably still be true. But all right, so let's try to get this back in here, preferably without knocking those nuts back out, because I mean they're not in there real good. They're just glued enough for us to get this together, and that's about it. So okay. What's ironic is on the other video, I know I keep making reference to the other video, I couldn't get this together, and all of a sudden it just magically, poof, it went together. So I don't have a clue what I did different then that I'm not doing now, but so give me a second here. Give me a second. I am trying. So it appears my chassis is messing with us a little bit here. I should have probably, oh, there it goes. There it goes. I should have brought the big light over here. I didn't know that this was going to get quite this involved, or that we would have quite this number of problems, but we have. I guess that's just how my videos go. And once again, that's okay. I mean, I don't have new stuff. I don't have stuff that you're going to call over to the local hobby shop and say, hey, I need this, blah, blah, blah. No, these take a lot of work and a lot of imagination, frankly, to keep them going. So, all right, I think we're ready to screw this in back together. We still have the tail end apart, and I'll show you that in case the other video turns out to be non-recoverable. So I think the first thing this stupid nut did was unglue, although it's too late because I can grab it now. Alright, so that's cool. So I don't even think that was the side that was necessarily giving us problems. No, it wasn't. Oh no. Yeah, same story on this one. But it held it just long enough for us to get in here and do what we want to do. So that's all you can ask, really. You know, it wasn't a permanent thing. Now there are things that you can buy to hold things temporarily like that. You don't have to glue, obviously, but I didn't have any of those things, and looks fine, turns out fine, so no problem. All right, here we have this other end. I will embarrassingly tell you that at one point I thought that this end went on this end, and don't ask me how that worked out in my brain, but probably one of those things I shouldn't admit, but it's true. So, all right. The reason this guy came off at all is because the back door fell out. And I guess I'll show you that because I don't have any idea whether that video is going to be able to be shown or not. Let's see. I'm fighting with this, guys. All right, so this nut was in my tray over here. Logical, I guess that's why we couldn't find it. Okay, so this back door at some point fell out, and I'm not sure how he goes in here, but I do know he fell out. So it looks like there's just a tab. Yeah, there's just a tab there. What happened is this end got moved and it fell out. Actually, that doesn't fit in there as nicely as I would like it to. I don't know if this tab has broken off, or what has happened exactly, but I'm going to, once again, as people scream, and just get this little bitty glue here just to hold it in. So he goes here. It's not a huge deal. So, and then of course this guy goes here. All right, and where he belongs there. I'm just going to kind of hold it while I get the screw back in. Still have not remembered to go and get some new nut drivers. Thank you again to whomever took mine out of my truck. Really not terribly appreciated. And I would have certainly bought you some, just to still have some. I mean, they're nothing special. What a stupid thing to steal. Okay. We got this on here. It's nice and tight. We got the door. It's in the right spot. So, all right. What I want to do, what's logical to do, is two different things at this point. I kind of want to put this on the track, and I want to make sure that we got some of the issues worked out. I do think I'm going to give this a little shot of oil right here, because we changed the way that this works just slightly. If that other video ever comes to the light of day, you'll see what I mean, but that fixed it right there. Now, don't want a bunch of oil everywhere, so you want to kind of clean it up. So this one's fine. This one's perfect. So I'm going to take this to the other room, and I'm going to put it on the track. Okay, yeah, that's what we'll do. going to see if we did any good or if we're still having a lot of problems or whatever. I ran each one of these individually, and then the 3 that we repaired before the last one, and they all seem to be doing very well. So adding the last one that we just did shouldn't change anything too drastically. Although, you know, something's wrong, obviously. It could cause an accident or a crash or something. So I guess the only way to find out, though, is to start it up and see what goes or doesn't go. So, all right. They are all lit up. So we did a good job on resoldering the joints that we needed to resolder. All right. I think we'll just go kind of slow at first. Just kind of look for wobbling and the way they track. Well, I think these are actually the best, the best they've ever been since I've owned them anyway. I had no idea that those trucks and that coupling system was quite that worn and bad. Definitely gonna have to keep an eye out for that, because I mean, while we did put it back together, we didn't put it back together in a way that's, you know, going to be lasting. You know, it may last a day, a week, a month, a year, but beyond that, that's anybody's guess. But you know, I kind of like to keep my stuff, you know, all together. I don't find that there's a problem and then leave it in pieces, because then you kind of wind up with just a bunch of pieces. All right, having said that, let's speed this up and let's see what it's going to do. I'm going to turn this to a speed that you would never ever run it at. So, I figure if it runs at that speed, then it should behave under any circumstances. So, you ready? Let's do this. I'm a little nervous. Well, you know, I don't want it to be like the Cop and Hobo video that I did, where I said, "Oh yeah, it's fixed," and, and then sure enough, it just implodes. So let's give it a couple of more laps around before I announce that yeah, we did a good job. Now, I will say that they are riding really excellent. They're working really well. They're tracking and maneuvering behind and in front of each other just exactly the way that they're supposed to. I've never been able to drive or run these at this speed before, so I think we can probably call this a success. So, all right, I shouldn't do this, but who dares me? Wow. All right, guys, those are awesome. We got just a little bit of wobble on that dome car, but I think it's just the weight and the type of the car. All right, I am pleased, very, very pleased. That was a lot of work, but you know, when you have a result like this, it's kind of hard to find fault with it. So, all right, let's slow this down. It's making me nervous. Wow. All right. Well, you know, this is certainly the polar opposite of the experience we had with these same cars, a week and a half ago, when they just would not stay on the track, would not stay coupled, wouldn't do anything really. So while it was a lot of work, I'm going to say this was well worth it. Now, I think I said it earlier, but just in case I edit that part out or whatever, the lighting in these is LED, but it's not the kind of LED that you're thinking. These are actually the type of bulbs that you would retrofit, like a car's, like I think they call them bayonet bulb, and it's a LED version of that. So that's why they're a little funky. But I kind of like it. I mean, they're like super bright. But anyway, all right, guys. Well, you know what? I'm going to call this a success, and I'm going to be more of a. I guess it'll be more of a success after we get that big mess we just made cleaned up. So, all right, guys. I think this is about it. Thanks for hanging in there until we got to the conclusion here. I was beginning to wonder if I was going to get done. All right. Once again, if you like this video, please be sure to give us a like. If you're not yet a part of our YouTube family, you might consider joining. This is what we do. We repair trains, we run trains. One of the benefits of becoming a YouTube subscriber to the channel is that you get notices when new videos come up, and you also get notices of when we go live. We do go live every once in a while. So far, I think we've done it 3 times. We still are working on perfecting that. We're not there just yet, but each time it gets a little bit better. So anyway, if nothing else, you could join and you could laugh at us. I mean, we're not proud. We don't care. We really don't. We just want to play with our trains. And for our current subscribers, thank you once again for being a big part of our YouTube family. We really appreciate you guys. We appreciate the camaraderie. We appreciate the comments. We just appreciate you. So, all right, guys. Until next time, I think this is it. GGS Railways out.